Hi guys, my name is LC,
My name is JT.
and welcome to the F1 Debate Show, when in this episode we'll be talking about some of the biggest news and headlines in Formula 1 this week, heading into the Austrian Grand Prix, such as a roundup of the two Friday practice sessions, what to expect this weekend, a bit more than we had in our preview show, some penalties that have already happened, driver transfers, and tyres for the next few races.
So what happened in the first practice session of the Austrian Grand Prix? Well, probably the biggest news in FP1 was that Rosberg smashed the lap record of Austria, beat Michael Schumacher's record in 2003, which proves how fast and very powerful these cars are. His time was 1:7.373, very, very fast around a very, very short circuit. Obviously, one of the quickest circuits on the calendar. Obviously, Nico Rosberg came in P1. Lewis Hamilton came in into P2, probably about 3/10 behind his teammate. Then you have the two Ferraris of Sebastian Vettel in P3, Kimi Räikkönen in P4, sorry. And then you had the Red Bull of Daniel Ricciardo in P5, which I wanted to mention just a little bit because I did see in his, I don't know if anybody had seen this, but I laughed so much at this interview he did at the driver's briefing, on Thursday, sorry. And basically he was getting asked a question about his, about the driver contract about next year, and he said, yes, I'm staying at Red Bull for next year. And then the report asked himself another question, and then he just went, yes. And now, about a second later, he went, it was, I've never laughed so much at Formula 1 in my life. I just want to briefly mention that, but a little bit random when I'm doing the standings. So anyways, yes, Carlos Sainz in P6 for Toro Rosso, Felipe Massa in P7, who we were expecting to do very well this weekend. A bit of a shy start to the weekend, but obviously this is FP1. Max Verstappen comes in P8 in Red Bull Racing. Former teammate Danny Kivad of Red Bull Racing in P9. Who? Valtteri Bottas in P10, just outside of the top 10 was Romain Grosjean of the Haas in P11. Nico Hulkenberg in P12. The two McLarens in P13 and 14 of Jenson Button and Fernando Alonso, who are still questioning their future in Formula 1. The Renault of very, very much under pressure, Kevin Magnussen. Just after him is the first man of the standings Pascal Wehrlein, shall I say? I still struggle to pronounce his name. Again, another driver under pressure, Julian Palmer, comes in next. Marcus Ericsson, Esteban Gutierrez, Felipe Nasr, Rio Haryanto, and last but not least, Alfonso Celis of Force India, obviously the Toro Rosso driver.
Yes.
LC?
It's on a great FP1. It was really fun to see, and obviously terrible conditions. FP2 was exactly the same in terms of conditions, and also who was on top. Nico Rosberg, the dominant force, was at the top. He was smashing it all around. You definitely can tell he's going to be an untouchable for this weekend. So he was in position 1. Second place was his teammate Lewis Hamilton, making it a Mercedes 1-2 for the second time in the second session this weekend. Yeah. Force India's Nico Hulkenberg, great driver to see in third place. Sebastian Vettel came in fourth place with Daniel Ricciardo in fifth. Now, he headed the two Red Bull drivers in FP1 and FP2, which is, well, upsetting for me because if you watch the preview show, I said Max Verstappen would win this race, but I don't know. The curbs really caught him out in FP1 as well. I hope that he's not going to like this kind of crashing stage that he went through at Monaco. As you might have seen, some people are comparing him now to Pastor Maldonado. You know, wins in Spain, crashes in Monaco. But hope he's not getting to that. Carlos Sainz, so the Toro Rosso driver who did very well in FP1, was sixth place in FP2. We're getting to him in a little while in this episode. Max Verstappen came in seventh place. Kimi Räikkönen, very far back in the Ferrari, came in eighth place. Finnish driver Valtteri Bottas for Williams came in ninth place. And Jenson Button in the McLaren came in 10th place, ahead of his teammate by one position. The signed Alonso in 11th, and the unsigned Button in 10th, as I say. Felipe Massa in 12th. Daniel Kvyat, who's he?
I did mention his name briefly in FP1.
yeah, I heard his name. He came in 13th position. Sergio Perez, now come on, he's won the Driver of the Day twice. So
exactly, so this is poor by his standards, boys.
Driver of the Weekend, but very terrible. 14th. Kevin Magnussen in 15th, Julian Palmer in 16th, Pascal Wehrlein, I can pronounce his name right, see, look at that. In 17th position, Esteban Gutierrez in that Haas, he's not getting it. In 18th, Marcus Ericsson in 19th, Romain Grosjean in 20th, which is very strange to say, but I hope they're just holding back for the weekend. Felipe Nasr in 21st and Rio Haryanto in 22nd. So progression in FP2. It's great to see them in those terrible conditions. Something to look forward to, and extra practice for Silverstone, because as we know, that's probably not going to be very good. I think JT said it was rain expected for Friday practice.
Yes, I did. I said LC about, I think it was yesterday, that it is forecasted to rain on Friday morning practice. So again, that could be very interesting. Mix up the grid. It did rain in FP2, so obviously very bunch of, as you can see, I mean, the likes of Romain Grosjean, Sergio Perez down there as well, and obviously Jensen Button up there. I mean, reasonably where McLaren should be, but obviously a lot higher than what they were in FP1. But so yeah, we're going to talk about the first driver transfers of the day, and that is as Carlos Sainz has signed. Elsie said to me before we recorded, "Don't say that," and I did. Oops, I live life in the fast lane, mate. So he has signed for Toro Rosso for another year, which means this will be his third season at Toro Rosso next season. And to be fair, what an absolute talent as well, if I'm totally honest with you. Obviously, when Max Verstappen was announced as Red Bull's driver, there was a bit of like talk of like, why haven't they considered Sainz straight? They've almost like just jumped into Max Verstappen straight away. Then everyone was pretty much questioning Carlos Sainz's future at the team. And obviously he's played down to that. He is now out of the F1 silly season. Rule himself out of any contention of further drives up the grid, but I'm pretty damn sure should Ricciardo or Verstappen were to leave Red Bull, I'm almost sure that Carlos Sainz would replace them at some point. I mean, I'm a big fan of this guy. I do like his attitude. I love his commitment. I love how fast he is as well. He's a superb talent. If he is World Championship material, I believe he is. Put him in the right car, he will deliver for you. Send it Red Bull, definitely he'll deliver them World Championships. It would be nice to see Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen at Red Bull. I mean, Elsie, what's your opinion on this? Do you think it's a good choice that Carlos Sainz has signed for another year at Toro Rosso?
Yeah, he's doing really well this season. I mean, yeah, you're right. When Max went to Red Bull just before Spain, it would have definitely thrown Carlos off guard, because he thought, well, hang on a minute, I've been in the same time as Max, and he's not doing better than me anyway. And I'm back with this, I'm back with Daniel Kvyat. I definitely think he's deserving of that seat next year. Red Bull, now, I don't think that they're going to have a vacancy for many years. I think Verstappen and Ricciardo are two great drivers who deserve to be at Red Bull. So the question is where is he going to go to a bigger team later on? Now we're running out of seats here because everyone wants to go to the Ferrari seat.
Exactly.
Which is probably Which is probably the only vacant seat at the top, apart from maybe a McLaren seat. But obviously no one wants to go there. After this seat and last season.
Exactly.
The last season was like a nightmare. It's like the worst horror film you can ever see. Forget The Conjuring. That's a nightmare. McLaren 2015. That
is ultimate Formula 1
coming
horror.
Out soon, guys. A brand new horror film, McLaren 2015. But yeah, he deserves to be in, and I'm so glad he's being signed. We have him in Toro Rosso, and he was a leader this season. Even with Verstappen. Now he is with Daniel. Can he be next season? And who will be his teammate? Because is Daniel Kvyat going to get signed again? Well, we have no idea. Is he? Is he not?
I mean, I believe so, because when I was watching the drivers' press conference. Obviously, just briefly when I mentioned about what Daniel Ricciardo did, they did mention a little bit about Max Verstappen, and Daniel Ricciardo confirmed that Max Verstappen will be his teammate up until 2018, which was a little bit awkward because you had Danny Kvyat next to Daniel Ricciardo, so it was a bit like, oh dear, I wonder what Danny Kvyat's thinking right now, but I don't know. I mean,
they've done that a few times where they've had. I remember in the press conference in Spain. When Daniel had to say, obviously both sides of the spectrum. Obviously, Daniel said, what it was like to be kicked out to Red Bull, and Max had to say what it was like to be in Red Bull. And Daniel gave that heartbreaking speech, about when he was told by Dr. Helmut Marko, and he was watching Game of Thrones. And then you think, well, he's talking, almost crying his eyes out, and then look who sat to the left or the right of him, was Max, and obviously they were on the front. It was terrible. But anyway, but that was great to see. And obviously Daniel and Max staying at Red Bull is just fantastic to see. Max will win a World Championship. It'll be with Red Bull. And
definitely.
But can he do it before Daniel? Then we'll have to wait and see.
Stay tuned to find out, guys.
Stay tuned to find out. Yes. The next news in the paddock is the tyre compounds. Now, this is almost like another thing itself to watch, which is really great. The first thing is that Monza has now confirmed its tyre compounds. So the super soft tyre will be the maiden sprint tyre, along with the soft tyre, and the more durable tyre will be the medium compound brought. Was this ultra soft going to be brought? Well, it's it's kind of waiting to see. I like how Pirelli get the decision of what to bring. Obviously, especially the ultra soft tyre is playing in just amazing in Formula One. I think we should even just make a video about how well the ultra soft tyre has adapted to Formula One. I mean, yeah, just that's the best thing this season. But to think though, JT, a few months ago when the season started, there was two things we were looking forward to seeing. There was the ultra soft tyre and the new qualifying system. That went out the window. Then it opened to think, well, what's the ultra soft tyre going to be like? Yeah. Monaco didn't really perform like we wanted it to. Yeah. And actually, remember that was the race that it was brought one earlier because it was supposed to be Canada before the start of the season. And but now it's great. Obviously, after its performances in Canada, I'd say that boosted it. Anyway, sorry. So get off the ultra soft tyre because that's not going to Monza. But yeah, so they're the 3 compounds confirmed for Monza. And the second thing to mention on the tyres is the British Grand Prix choices. Now, I say Britain is the next race. I'm sure JT and me have never mentioned Britain, have we, JT? Have we mentioned Silverstone?
Not at all. No. Not once. Never.
But I think we should do that more often now because, well, I mean, you with the viewers probably think, do we even know the British Grand Prix is coming? But, so the 3 compounds that are being brought to Silverstone is the orange-marked hard tyres. Now, they will be the most durable, with the longest strategy. The white striped medium tyre and the yellow marked soft tyre. And it is up to the drivers what they decide. It's not so much the teams now, and so there's no split strategies designed by the race engineer.
Yep. Exactly.
And normally, a lot of the drivers will have the head screwed on in the right way in terms of picking the tyres. But this time, it's very strange because a lot of the drivers have chose either more or less quantities of different tyres to what they want. So, for example, we have the 2 Mercedes drivers on one set of the hard compound, going all the way up the grid to Force India, who have chosen 3 sets of the hard compound. The medium tyre is just all the way. The lowest is 3, and that has been chosen by the 2 Sauber drivers and the 2 Toro Rosso drivers, also the 2 Ferrari drivers. And the most that we can see is 5, and that's been chosen by Mercedes, Williams, Renault, and a lot more teams on the grid. So it begs the question, what kind of strategy can we hope to see at Silverstone? Firstly, after the 2 days that we had yesterday, I think we're definitely seeing that Austria is kind of a stepping stone, to grow into Silverstone because we're going to have that rain. I think it is forecast for the race, or at least made its appearance in the race. So you think, what's the strategy going to be like, and the teams to work on the tyres? So in terms of strategies, what are the teams thinking is going to be at Silverstone, and what kind of strategy will be run at Silverstone comparing these new tyres and the new format? We're just, different year by year at Formula One. So JT, what do you think that the strategy is going to be like in Formula, especially seeing the choices by these tyres? Because from looking at it, I'd think that the Mercedes drivers want to try a one-stop strategy, but then going down the grid in tyre conservation. But then you look at lower down the grid, for example, like Force India, who have chosen 3 sets. They must think they're going to go for either a 2 or a 3-stop strategy, either providing the rain and thinking that they'll just go flat out until the end. So what do you think the strategy will be heading into Silverstone?
Obviously, I think all the teams will want to try a 1-stop, definitely. I think that is going to be a little bit too much, if I'm totally honest with you. I think we're going to see 2 stops, definitely, and probably the minimum we will see. Unless it's raining, obviously, then obviously we're going to see multiple strategies. But say it is a dry race, then yes, I would predict a 2-stop, maybe even a 3-stop. Obviously the top teams like Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, they're obviously going to be wanting 2 stops. They're just going to try for 2 stops. Whereas teams of like Renault, Sauber, Manor, they're going to be 3 stops. They're not really going to be that bothered because they've really got nothing to lose. And obviously with Silverstone, it's one of the longest circuits on the calendar. So again, tyres is very demanding as well. It's a very long lap, so obviously tyre weight is going to be very high at this particular circuit. But no, I mean, literally anything can happen. If we were to say something something that we've seen in 2013, then I think we could be in for a lot of pit stops. And obviously we've already got some curb situations in Austria, so God help us for Britain. But no, I think in my opinion, I would suggest a 2-stop. That's roughly what I'm going to say. Maybe in a 3-stop. That is on a dry race, but on a wet race, depending how what the weather forecast is for race day. Say it does rain, then again it could be 3, possibly even 4 stops. Should it dry out any quicker?
Now Silverstone is a very strange circuit that we see because. Well, for example, let's use somewhere like Malaysia as an example. When it rains there, because it's like a tropical country, when it rains hard. And
massively.
You can go from like an option tyre to wet within a few laps.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
There'll be red flags, safety cars, whatever.
Yeah.
But in Silverstone, one minute it'll be kind of sunshine and hot, a very hot track temperature.
Yeah.
Then then it'll be overcast. Then the track temperature will go down. Then there'll be a few spots of rain, and then these few spots of rain will have to be judged by both more so the driver now. I keep wanting to think it's a team because it has been for many years. So when there's a few spots of rain that come on the track, either on that the first seat on the visor or ahead of them on the track, like puddles forming or whatever, then they'll have to judge what tyres to go on. And that's the thing that makes Silverstone such an interesting track, because that's the thing, it's just few spots of rain. And I mean, as you will know if you do live in the UK, like there's been today, 1 minute it'll be heaving it down with rain and then it'll just stop because it'll be like a cloudburst or whatever. So if we expect that, how will that affect the circuit, and what kind of tyres will it be going on? And that's what's great about it. So I'm not going to say any more about Silverstone because we're going to keep that for the preview, which will be next Thursday, ahead of the amazing British Grand Prix, which me and JT have never mentioned before.
So I'm going
to leave Silverstone alone for now until next week.
Yeah, obviously. I'm just going to quickly mention a little bit, obviously, if nobody is aware, next week is F1 British Week. It's basically a little themed that both me and LC came up with, where we have 7 days, seven different videos, all based on the British Grand Prix. Obviously, it's mine and LC's home race, and obviously it is the home of Formula One. So don't, if you haven't heard it already, then go and check out on our page for more details, and don't forget to stick around for F1 British Week. Sorry. Again, fantastic week. Let's hope it goes very successful. If you do want to interact with us, just use hashtag F1 British Week. I'm going to quickly move on to my team just briefly, because something came up today. Obviously at Austria, something about towards next year, and that is obviously McLaren. Now McLaren recently have not been obviously where they want to be, as we've said many times this episode. And basically what Honda basically said is that that they're not really going to plan a complete redesign of the F1 engine for 2017, which is very interesting, because Honda I've obviously been saying that we need a different engine, also McLaren rather. You need to up your game really. You need to basically give us more power so we can compete as well. Honda have obviously agreed to that, and now they're saying that they're not really planning to complete redesign of the F1 engine for McLaren there. So which is a bit strange, because I'm like, McLaren need that pace back. They need the winning mentality back of the former glory. Get rid of all their wars, restart everything all over again, and bring it back. I mean, Honda did say last year that 2016 would be better, and now obviously it is a bit better, but not as good as what we all thought. Now they say next year is going to be even better. Obviously planned with the new packages and stuff like that that's coming in, so that will be very interesting to see. But McLaren do need a lot more power, shall I say? And McLaren, Honda have said that they are working very hard to ensure that. But obviously, I think it's a bit strange that they're not planning to complete a proper design of that engine. And obviously, they are going to bring some major upgrades for the rest of the season, rather. And hopefully that they'll. What am I trying to say here? Obviously, I'm trying to get my words out. I'm trying to. It is difficult to word it. It's like trying to preview what is going to happen next year, shall we say? Obviously, into this season. So LC. They're not planning to complete redesign that engine. Yeah, it is. What's that all about?
It's strange. It's almost like Honda have lost the attention span with McLaren. It's almost like the board.
Yeah.
You think, we're not doing very well. I'm bored here. We're going. With Honda, I'll always, I can't even work out what's going on. But the thing that I always say with McLaren, which I quickly want to say, is I always compare McLaren with Williams. Now, the new Williams that we see on the grid, I'm going to call them Martini Williams, because obviously we all know that. Their last win before Pasta was in 2004, and the gap between that was around something like 180 Grand Prix. The gap from the last win of McLaren, which was Brazil 2012, is around something like 70 Grand Prix. So they've got time to work. They've got almost another 100 to evolve. And I think that's what Honda are trying to do. You think 2015 was terrible. 2016 is a tiny bit better. Is 2017 going to be better? Then better, then better, and then till when they get to.
I do hope so.
So there's been there was an 8-year period of Williams. So 8 years since 2012 is that 2020? Yes, it is. So by 2020, they'll have it spot on. They'll be winning again. Hope they do before that, but
hopefully
that's what I hope Honda are doing. But in terms of not doing a complete engine upgrade, an engine revamp, giving it a makeover and all that, not doing that is very strange. Because why do they think that this engine, needs to stay the same? I'd be working on it like hell, but it is very strange. And I just hope they bring more upgrades and improve the engine for next year, because, as I say, the regulations change, the tyres are bigger, the cars are wider and lighter, and if anything, it comes back to the old style driving, the old style, obviously, what Honda dominated in the 80s and the 90s, and that might even kind of push them along.
Bring them back to the former glory. Yes. Please, Honda, please.
That's what they need to do.
Yes.
But when you just say that, JT, a lot of people think that Honda need to be as they were in the 80s, which is, yes, they need to, but if anything, sometimes I think of Honda, somebody needs to go there and tell them, right, okay, stop with your heads in the clouds, because, for example, in 2015, a lot of people had their heads in the clouds thinking, we're going to be as good as we were in the 80s.
Yeah.
Now, 2015, sure, that was false. That's never going to happen again. So now, instead of setting their goal to be like they were in the 80s, I think they need to set a goal of what can we do, like start afresh, what can we do going forward, because maybe that's what's holding them back. That incredibly high bar that they're just not reaching, maybe that's what's holding them back, maybe that's that's halting Honda. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not inside their minds, but maybe that is, and maybe they've now just got to think, the 80s have happened, they were, like 40 years ago, 30 years ago, I don't know. Math,
exactly.
Live math, I can't do that.
Ago,
but, they've got to forget about that now. They've had that glory, not anymore. And then they just need to focus on going forward.
Yes, they do.
Which is great.
They are on the right path, I would say, at the moment. Obviously, aerodynamically, they do need to improve. They have a bit of a redesign rear wing for obviously Friday practice, as we're seeing. Progress in that. It does sound like McLaren are trying as well, but they do need to at least improve this season to try and get as high as up in the constructors' table as they possibly can. Because again, position is crucial when it comes in terms of finances as well. Because the higher you are, the more you get, and McLaren do need some money to basically restart and build a faster car, get some new people in, and obviously possibly get some new drivers in. I mean, who knows? You know what I mean?
More news from Austria is that Sebastian Vettel has a 5-place grid penalty for replacing his gearbox. He did that, it was released during FP1 yesterday morning. And that was because after the European Grand Prix in Baku, it was found that Sebastian had problems with the metal fillings on his gearbox, which was alternating, obviously, his early gear shifts, not race pace, and just kind of imploding the car. That had needed to be changed, and he has had a 5-place grid penalty, so that could be very sad to see, especially if he gets on first, because then he'll do a Michael Schumacher in Monaco 2012 and go back to 6th, a bit like Perez in Baku, because if he never had that penalty, we'll discuss that in another episode, but come on, he would have done so much better. That's a real shame. It was very, very sad to see that, but it's one of those things. And also on penalties as well, Lewis Hamilton has had to change his engine for this week, so he's got a brand new engine, but it's now the only engine that he has, which means that he will get a penalty down the line in the next.
He's already admitted that
last couple of races,
that it is the only outcome. I think he said that it might happen to him twice. From now till the end of the season. So
but it is. Nice. But he did say, though, which is very strange. He did say that he was the only Mercedes driver to do. Well, when I say the only, I mean one of two.
Yeah.
But still, why aren't these problems happening to Rosberg? That's the kind of thing. And I've got to say, for a driver like Lewis, that'll make him question the team. I'm surprised. Now, I don't know if he is, but like last night, I wonder if he was saying to the team, he's going to Paddy Lowe, he's going to Toto Wolff, he's going to Niki Lauda, and he was saying, well, hang on a minute, how is it on this side of the garage? Why is this happening? And then on Nico's side, it's all, flowers running through meadows, because I'm fastest in both sessions. I won the last race, I won in Canada. No, he didn't win in Canada. Lewis won in Canada. Sorry about that. Nico won in Baku. He won the two. He won the 2 Friday practice sessions. That's what he'll be challenging the team about that.
Yes.
So it will be see what the see comes out. Obviously, Lewis will have a penalty coming, but it's not this weekend. So that's great.
Great to see. This will definitely hinder Sebastian Vettel's chances of winning the race this weekend, which obviously I would probably tip him as to be one of the favourites. But obviously, Sebastian Vettel, he always provides, if I'm honest with you. Yes, the Ferrari isn't as good this weekend, but it is a quick circuit as well. Expect a lot of surprises this weekend. I do hope that Sebastian Vettel does actually power up that grid, compete with the Mercedes. He was saying that Ferrari can eventually compete with Mercedes, proper like wire to wire, probably in the next couple of years. He has been saying a lot this week, as have Red Bull as well. So again, a lot of tactics going on here. A lot of words, confident words, come from both sides of the camp, which it is possible. It is possible.
Yeah.
I do hope that is the case. 'Cause I do want a lot more competitive racing in recent times, but unfortunately, that is Sebastian Vettel's weekend.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it isn't ruined.
Yeah.
As I would say.
I mentioned a lot about the driver standings. I'll just give you the team standing rundown so far. Now, a lot of people will understand that Mercedes have ran into the distance, and their gap on Ferrari is amazing. I'm going to give the numbers. I'm not going to give you the gap because I won't be able to work it out. I'm not that good. Mercedes have ran into the distance with 258 points. So they lead Ferrari by Can I try and do this on air? Yes, I'm going to try and do this on air. So
he's going to try it on air, guys. He's going to try it on air.
One. So it's. I think is that 81? Is that 81? So it's with there. So it's 28. So it's 28 to the 100. 28 to the 100, 28, 28, 28, 58, 68, 68, 68.
Guys,
stay with me, 72, 72, 70, 75. I think it's 75. I think it's 75. But anyway, so Mercedes 258, Ferrari 177. They lead Red Bull Racing by, I'm not going to... That's 37. That is a gap of 37.
Hey!
140. Williams are in 4th place with 90 points. Force India are in 5th place with 59 points.
Giving up.
Toro Rosso are in 6th place with 32 points. 7th place, now this is very high compared to in 15 when I think you only had maybe 1 or 2 points, is McLaren on 24. So that is very good. Remember one of those points was Stoffel Van Dorn? I always remember that.
Exactly.
In 8th place was Haas doing amazing. I always remember Roman's 2 points finishes in the first 2 races, which was amazing. And that's when you thought it was going to be the golden age for them. 9th place is Renault on 6 points, and then 10th place to start the line of 2 0 points teams are Sauber, and the other 0 points is Manor, which that's not surprising, but Sauber really is. 0 points. Come on. So what do you think of those early indications in the constructors, JT?
Obvious. I mean, obviously Mercedes ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
Ferrari. Should they be there? I think they should be closer to the Mercedes. Red Bull definitely improving. Definitely, all credit to that. Force India doing absolutely fantastic. Give massive credit to them. McLaren making very good progress. Not where they should be, but better than last year. In terms of Renault, Sauber, and Manor. Renault and Sauber, bad. Yeah. Manor, you can't really fault Manor because the car is faster. They are more competitive towards the Sauber. To be fair, they've got nothing to lose. If I'm totally honest with you. I'm impressed. But to be fair, the standings at this time don't lie. That pretty much where the team should be. Where the teams are, the team that's where they should be. If I'm totally honest with you, judging on performance as well.
Sauber's just unbelievable.
Has been poor. Sorry guys, if you are watching this, hello.
Sorry
guys, you need to improve massively.
So there we go. So that is the end of the F1 Debate Show. Thank you very much for watching.
Before
we click off, we're just going to tell you a bit about what's happening next weekend. So the F1 British Week is coming. And I'm going to hand over to JT and he'll be telling you the schedule of the videos next week.
Exactly. So obviously Sunday is when the British Week kicks off. Obviously we'll have our our review of the Austrian Grand Prix. But the first one, we're going to have the story of Silverstone. What me and Elsie are going to do, we're going to go back in time and basically explain how Silverstone became the home of the British Grand Prix, how it sort of evolved to what it was to what it is now. What else have we got? Wait there, I've got a list somewhere. I have got a list. On Monday the 4th, we have the best of Silverstone. Basically, me and Elsie picked 2 races that we believe that were a standout race to make Silverstone an iconic track, if I'm totally honest with you. On Tuesday, I'm going to be doing an F1 2015 British Grand Prix video, basically similar to what you have been seeing this week. Or on previous weeks rather, just again do qualifying, do the race. I think I'll be doing Jenson Button. I've chosen Jenson Button. I was going to do Lewis Hamilton, but I've decided last minute, you know what, it'll be more of a challenge if I do Jenson Button. On Wednesday we're going to look at some young British drivers, maybe some who are we could see potentially in Formula 1 in the future. I'm going to do 2. LC is going to do 2. That is on Wednesday. On Thursday, we obviously have a regular race preview. Obviously, me and LC will be discussing the key points for the British Grand Prix. Obviously, we will be there. So obviously stay tuned for that. On Friday we have the race report where basically me and Elsie are going to be discussing practice live from Silverstone, which will be absolutely fantastic. On Saturday we have the F1 debate show, episode 19, British Grand Prix special on the Saturday. And to round things off on the Sunday, we have the British Grand Prix race review again from Silverstone. Also, the following week after that, I would have vlogged the entire thing. Yes. So make sure you check that out as well. Probably I'm not sure when, but hopefully towards the end of that next week.
Yes, it'll be great. So I hope you stay around for that week. It'll be great. Thank you very much for watching this episode, guys. And we will see you on Sunday for, as I say, 2 videos, which will be very strange because we have the review, which will come out as soon as the race finishes. But when the checkered flag falls in Austria, JT, that is when the British week starts. Hashtag F1 British Week.
Hashtag F1 British Week.
And,
yes, guys.
Yeah, and then a few hours after the review will be the first video. So please stick around for that. It might be around 9 o'clock GMT on the night. So as at 2100 hours, getting very military for you. But yeah, so please stick around for that. And yeah, catch us through the whole week. It'd be great. Thank you. Thank you for watching this episode, guys, and we'll see you later.
See you, guys.
Bye.